Yes, don't forget to check out Doggie Diamonds No Filter on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify. If you've never been there before, the link is right below in the description box. You don't have to go far. It's right below. Also, for only $100, I'll promote whatever you need on my social medias and my website. That's my Twitter, Facebook, Insta Stories, YouTube community, and my website, www.doggydiamondstv.com. Hit me up on Instagram at Doggy Diamonds for your promo, serious inquiries only. Also, if you need anger management, domestic violence intervention, life coaching, then Corinne Bliss Johnson can help you. Contact at Corinne Bliss Johnson for your assessment now. Go right to the Instagram. Any advice or anything. It doesn't have to be anger management or domestic violence. If you just need advice on anything and you need somebody to assess the situation for you and give you some sound right reason and advice, then hit up Corinne Bliss Johnson on Instagram. Let's go. So as you file in real quick, make sure you hit the like button. Very important that you hit the like. Hit the share too. Hit the share. Hit the share button. Share it to your social media. Share it to your Facebook. Share it to your Twitter. Just share it. I'm here. Hopefully everybody is well. So I'm going to give y'all some dialogue because it's about interviews and perception. So, who's more qualified for the job to talk about it than I? So that's what I'm going to do. Okay? Okay. Stop the music. What's up, everybody? I go by the name of Doggie Diamonds. This is Doggie Diamonds TV. Doggie Diamonds No Filter. If you're listening on the iTunes or the Apple Podcast, yeah, we're on Doggie Diamonds TV, but this is Doggie Diamonds No Filter Podcast. So, this is where we at with it. So when we watch these interviews, people have their perception. They're allowed to give their truth. They're allowed to say what they want to say. So you have on one hand, Fat Joe giving his truths, what he believes to be right. He's definitely saying that he put them on. He's saying Pitbull. He's saying Khaled. He's saying Trick Daddy. Now, Luke, I guess, gets wind of it because it's not new. It's old. And Luke has something to say about it. So Luke says, hold on, you didn't discover Trick Daddy. You didn't discover Pitbull. You didn't discover DJ Khaled. I did. Now, I don't know if y'all see what's happening here because one person says I put them on and one person is saying you didn't discover them. I never heard Fat Joe say he discovered them. I heard he said that he put them on. Whether he put them on or not, that's interpretation, that's subjective, that's how you want to interpret it. But it is a difference between discovering someone and putting them on. So when he says, I took them to Craig Cowman, I went to Brian Leach at TVT, and they got signed, that could be looked at as putting them on. Now, if Luke discovered them, and I can't say he put them on because Luke is saying they didn't really go anywhere from dealing with him. So it's a light put on. According to what Fat Joe was saying, they became rich after he did that. So it's an interpretation thing. You could give it to Luke, you could give it to Fat Joe. They both had dialogue. It wasn't messy dialogue. The dialogue was between them two. The dialogue ended well, but you can see where the debate could come in at. Because one person is feeling like I put them on. One person is saying you didn't put them on, I discovered them. So Luke admitted out of his mouth that he couldn't really do too much for Trick Daddy because he was in bankruptcy. He was going for too much, and then Trick Daddy ended up leaving him and signing with Slip and Slide. He couldn't do too much for Pitbull, so Pitbull ended up going to TBT. Now the question you would say is, how did Pitbull get to TBT, and how did Trick Daddy get on Atlantic? So Fat Joe was saying that's due to him. But if you pay attention now, what's happening in these interviews, what's happening on these platforms, And Luke even said this. It was very, very weird to me because I was going to say this. What's happening in these interviews, in these platforms is that, and this is just my opinion. You could think what you want. You could feel how you want. I might not even be right in this. The people who are asking questions now are not challenging the people who are talking to them. They're listening, right? Because I think because of the stigma on Drink Champs that Nori doesn't listen, he cuts people off. Everybody is listening now. So when you listen to an artist, as you should when you're doing an interview, sometimes they get to ramble, sometimes they get to say certain things. And if you're not versed in hip hop history, hip hop culture, they're going to say things that you're supposed to say, that's not right and exact. So if I interview Fat Joe, and he said, yo, I put on Pitbull and Trick Daddy, I would say, before Luke? Why would I say that? Because I know the culture. I know where they came from. I know that the first time I heard JT Money, Trick Daddy, and all of them was with Luke. So you can't just say to me, you put them on. Because I would say how before Luke, then he would have to differentiate how he put them on and what did he do that Luke didn't do that he feels got them over the hump. So although Fat Joe is right in his saying and Luke is right in his stand, the onus really goes on the interviewer for not getting clarity. So this wouldn't have happened if you had gotten clarity, if you knew the culture well enough to say, nah, that don't make no sense. Over Luke? And he would say, no, they was with Luke, but I took, oh, okay. So again, what's happening now, the same thing with the MC Search interview. It's a lot of backpedaling and a lot of apologies happening behind these interviews because people are sitting there interviewing these people and these people are just rambling. These people are just talking. They're saying from what their perspective is, and some of them, I'm not going to say Fat Joe, are just flat out lying. They're just flat out lying and they're just making up stuff. And being that they're making up stuff, if you don't know any better, you're just going to go off it. So when Search says, oh, nah, Nas got Jay-Z publishing, we all go, word, so that makes Takeover fake. Yo, Nas got Jay-Z publishing? Yo. But then when it starts getting broken down by experts and people who know what's going on, then they'll say, yo, okay, that's not true. Just like when he says something, Search says something, and then Jalil from Houdini has to call him and say, and then he goes out there and say, yo, I want to apologize. Because when you're in the moment and when you're talking, a lot of times you caught up in the moment and you're going to give things from your perspective, but that don't mean that this shit is the truth. And the interviewer, the person who's doing the interviewing, the person who's asking the questions are not supposed to just get answers and say that's okay. Because if you're interviewing somebody and they say, well, I was the first artist signed to Def Jam, you're going to be like, for real? Over, you was there before Tila Rock? But if you don't know that Tila Rock and Jazzy J was there first with It's Yours, you're not going to be able to ask that question. You're just going to be like, oh, you was the first person on Def Jam? Word? Oh, that's crazy. See, that's what's happening in our culture right now. So many people are being able to sit before people and say anything. And the people who are they sitting before don't have the knowledge of the culture to challenge anything. So that's going to leave infighting later and people having to clear up stuff, having to backpedal, and having to check people. So that's really what's going on. So again, partially, Fat Joe is right. Partially, Luke is right when you deal with the language. When you deal with discover, when you deal with put on. You know what I'm saying? When you deal with discover and when you deal with put on. Because you discover somebody, that don't mean you put them on a major scale. So what's happening now in these interviews, being that everybody does interviews, we just getting a bunch of cap. And because a person talks with conviction and passion, it just sounds believable. And we're getting a bunch of cap right now. So we're seeing interviews that's getting astronomical numbers. Salute to everybody who does their numbers. But it's a lot of cap. So now hip hop history as we knew it is getting rewritten. We kind of don't know what's the truth because this is getting X amount of views. And then somebody has to come out, clarify what this person said. And then people will say, oh, you're hating. You're hating. You get it? So that's what the problem is becoming in our culture, is because people are just talking. And again, when you talk from a space of being defensive, then you're going to always big yourself up. You're always going to say your greatness. You're going to say, yo, how could they say that about me? I just like myself sometimes when people say shit about me, sometimes I'll be like, yo, how y'all talking about me? I made it possible for this. I made this cool. I made it for a guy from the street to be cool to do interviews, because technically that was like journalists, people with journalism degree, people with literary arts and all that shit. I never did any of that. I never went to school. So that's how I feel. So I could sit from that standpoint, but I'm not going to cap. I'm not going to rewrite anything. I'm going to say, yeah, I might have been the first one doing this, but at the same time, you did have Combat Jack doing it his way, and you had the first traditional hip hop that was called a podcast would be Juan Epstein, and that would be Cypher Sounds and Peter Rosenberg. But that doesn't mean that I wasn't podcasting, but what was called a podcast, they did the first thing called a podcast, which I was taking radio interviews and putting the audio out, which was a podcast, but I never put it in podcast format because if it wasn't on Apple iTunes or some of the streaming platforms, it's technically not a podcast. So I would have to say the first podcaster would be Juan Epstein. That's the first podcast, but they don't come before me doing hip hop interviews in that space because I was at DTF radio for a very long time and y'all seen a lot of the footage, but I never stripped the audio and put it out there like that till after a while. So they would be before me in the traditional podcast thing. So I can say that. But as far as doing interviews, sitting down with people, that was me prior to everybody. There wasn't nobody before me. I was before Vlad, before a lot of people. But when you call it, see, that's what I'm saying. When you deal with the language podcasting, they did it in the format of podcasting. I did it in the format of a YouTube show, a YouTube radio show back when I think even Combat Jack was he was at Under the Street Lights, one of them stuff like that. But then he put it in the podcast format to go on those platforms, to go on SoundCloud and to go like that and call it a podcast. I just wasn't doing that. I was just putting audio out, not on that podcast thing. So you dealing with the language. So you can say partially, yeah, they're right. They were first. But when you look at it like this way, he was first. So we all could have a dog in that fight. We all could have a perception of how he was first. But it's the language. So when he say I discovered, and he say I put them on, you can see the language. But it's for somebody to question it. It's for somebody to get clarity. You know what I'm saying? Somebody to get clarity on what are you saying. So again, when you see these interviews, I've never been in awe of nobody. So when people sit before me, when you say something, I'm going to, it's not about challenging, but when you make bold statements, you're going to have to elaborate because I know what I know. Again, nobody's gonna tell me what they did in this culture, and it went by me, and I don't know that. Like I'm gonna be like, oh wow, And if you saying this what you did in this culture, you gotta show and prove. You can't just tell me stuff, So if he said, yo, I put Big Pun on, you like, well, you did. If he say, yo, I put Remy Ma on, I would say, well, how you put Remy on and Remy was on the Pun. That's what I would say. You know what I'm saying? Because again, in this thing, when you sit in this seat and you got somebody in front of you or you got somebody in a split screen and you're asking questions, your questions got to be right and exact. And the answers that you get gotta, it can't just sound good. It gotta be right and exact. You can't just be like, a word? Oh, that's what's up. Like, no, 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 no. How did that happen? Even when I interviewed Sonny Chiba and I said, when I interviewed him and I said to him, Jay-Z sound a lot like y'all on some joints. Why is that? And he say, well, we was in the studio a lot together. We had different sessions. We had the same producer, as well as one time I went and see my manager, and my manager said that he was standing there rehearsing my raps, rehearsing my style. So again, that could kind of have you understand why did Jay-Z come out with how much money you need to go shopping? Why did he talk like that? I always wanted to know, why did he talk like that? If you look at Ain't No Nigga video, no, it is Ain't No Nigga. He was like, how much money you need to go shopping? I was like, yo, why he say that like that? Why he talk like that? Then when you hear Feeling It, you like, holy smokes. So it makes sense. But he couldn't just tell me that and me not know that because I'm familiar with the music. So what's happening now, you're going to see more and more people going to do interviews. They're going to shoot from the hip. They're going to say whatever, and people just going to be like, oh, yo, that's crazy. But then it causes a shitstorm because the problem is with our culture it's always being rewritten. And it just so happens that certain people was always the catalyst for who's rewriting the culture. So people was already feeling a way about Fat Joe for saying it was 50% Puerto Rican. We feel a way about how we perceive the handling of the Big Pun situation. So a lot of things, we already like that. So everything that come out his mouth, we like, here you go. Here he go. You know what I'm saying? Here he go. So, that's my advice. Stop sitting people in front of you and being in awe and just let them babble. If they say something that not to be right and exact, or they make a bold statement, you gotta get clarity, because that's what the culture needs. The culture needs clarity. The culture needs to know where you getting this from. You can't just be pulling shit out your ass and just say it and we be like, oh, that's crazy. Because I think that's what happens a lot. So even Pete Nice, MC Search's partner, just say, yo, he's a habitual liar. You know what I'm saying? He's a habitual liar. He lies about everything. So now me being that's his partner and he's caught. I mean, MC Search has said he wrote rhymes for Rakim. So after you say you wrote rhymes for Rakim, I kind of really can't believe shit you say. Like, you wrote rhymes for Rakim? And somebody's really sitting down interviewing him and listening to him after he said that. Because even when you cleared it up, you can't clear up a lie because it should have never came out your mouth. That's just how I look at it. You can't clear up a lie. You can't say it was misquoted, misinterpreted, because the only time something is misquoted is when it's in print and you might have said something and then they interpreted what you said one way, interpretation. But when somebody seen you say it, when somebody seen those words come out of your mouth, come on now. Come on now. You can't, we didn't misinterpret, because that's like saying, I said this, but y'all are all stupid and y'all didn't understand what I was saying. That's really disingenuous. So even when he goes on to say Nas got Jay-Z publishing, then we like, hold on, how? Then somebody breaks it down. Lonnie Liston Smith got this for the sample. Ski Beats got this. Pete Rock got this. Nas got this. Jay-Z got this. This is what they split. We say, oh, that's how I go. Because you got to remember and you got to think, we don't really know publishing like that. That's why I brought somebody on that's a publishing expert. We don't know about publishing. That's why I always stop Blizz when he say, who the publishing? I'm like, yo, this is not a publishing thing. This is beyond publishing. This is not publishing. This is a thing of, it might be royalty, which is the difference between publishing, but at a particular time, there wasn't no publishing. It was just a royalty rate. You didn't get publishing. You would get a royalty rate. And like my man Gul Roach had explained, some older record labels from the 80s and early 90s didn't do publishing. They would just do royalty. So you would get a royalty rate based off the record sold, but you didn't get publishing. Publishing, as old as it is, when hip hop came in its inception, you got to remember they didn't think it was going to last. So the contracts were not tailor-made for hip hop artists. They didn't think these words the dudes were saying was going to they didn't think the words that these dudes were saying was worth anything. It ain't like somebody saying you ain't nothing but a hound dog and that song is going to get played for 100 years. You think they didn't think hip hop was going to last. So they gave them they give them a royalty rate. You understand what I'm saying? They give them a royalty rate. So again, you fuck with me, but you asking where Blizz at. So Blizz was just on his channel earlier. Was you on there? And again, when y'all come in here and ask me where Blizz at and I'm doing my show and you act like you have a problem with me being here by myself doing my show, I'm just going to get you out of here. Just going to keep it real with y'all. I'm just going to keep it real with y'all because that shit is very disingenuous. And I don't like nobody telling me, yo, I fuck with you, but. Because if there's a but, you don't fuck with me. And I'm just saying that respectfully. You know what I'm saying? Certain conversations I have by myself. This is my channel. This is my shit. Blizz was on earlier. If you wasn't there, why the fuck are you asking where he's at? He has his own channel. And he was on earlier too. Were you there? That's just, a serious question. This is called Doggie Diamonds, No Filter. Now, if this was Outspoken with Kareem Johnson and he wasn't on here, then you can ask, where the hell is he? But, yeah. So, yeah, they got writers, but the publishing is the main thing. The publishing is what's going to sustain you forever. And a lot of them didn't get publishing. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them didn't get publishing. So that's where the culture changed, because once the guys started getting it publishing, that's what lasted. That's why a lot of them are sustained. That's why many of them now haven't been out in 10, 20 years and they could just go to the mailbox and pick up a check, every quarter and all that, and really get their bread. So that's really all about. So we can't, in this situation, we can't really say we can't really say Fat Joe is capping. We can't say Luke is capping. They're both right depending on language. But it should be more of the interviewers to fact check and check stuff, because I've done interviews where people say shit to me and I'd be like, nah, that's not right. Even when I interviewed Charlie Rock LD and he was like, Fat Joe's only worth $4 million. He's broke. I'm like, could I be broke with $4 million? I want to be $4 million broke. That don't bother me. You get what I'm saying? So again, I don't have any disdain for any artist. I don't have a witch hunt against any artist. It just so happens that my platform, at one particular point, you got to remember there were no platforms for people to air their grievances. So what happened was I was the first platform, and before all these platforms popped up, and then when they start popping up, people were biased. They wouldn't talk to people. So if you had an issue with Fat Joe, you couldn't go to K Slay. You couldn't go to certain people. If you had an issue with certain people, you couldn't go to Flex. You couldn't go to certain people because their relationships. As for me, I said, listen, I got relationships with a lot of people, but you have the right to tell the side of your story. Now, the biggest mistake that I made, and this is really for a lot of people who's coming in this culture, listen, don't sacrifice your craft for a relationship. Because if you have a relationship with a person would say, look, interview her. I don't give a fuck. They a liar. And after you interview them, I'm going to come on and clear the air. But what happened in this culture, it became like some elitist thing, right? So the elitist thing was like, oh, how you interviewing them and you supposed to be my man. So that's what happened with me and Jadakiss and Bully. Because I had more of a relationship with Kiss, I was never supposed to interview Bully. So, you know, they was asking me to take the interview down. And I obliged because something was supposed to happen behind the scenes that never happened. I was supposed to get clarity behind the scenes because only when I left the interview up, I kind of was looking crazy because they was trying to say to me, Bully was sitting there capping. But when you didn't show and prove something that you were supposed to show and prove, I got to put his interview back out. I can't just say, leave him like that. You get what I'm saying? So believe it or not, a lot of people don't get interviewed. A lot of people don't get a chance to tell their story because it gets cut out. Like I'll tell y'all right now, even in my Drink Champs interview, it is a part that's cut out. You know what I'm saying? Because Nori has a relationship with Kiss, and it was a part where I wasn't disrespectful to Kiss, but I also explained what I just explained to you. Yo, if you care about meat eating, let me interview who I want to interview. You shouldn't care about who I'm interviewing if you're not doing interviews with me. So again, like what I was saying with the other guy, your loyalty, see, in this culture, your loyalty always get questioned by people who's not loyal to you. See, they can sit down and mess whatever they want to, because like even at that time, you know, me and Taxstone wasn't getting along, but Jadakiss went in the barbershop with him and did it. He never said, hold on, nah, he dissed my man Diamonds. I can't fuck with him. No, you did you. But when I do me, not even to be spiteful, I get questioned. That's what this culture does. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't mess with who you want to, but I could do what I want and you can't question me. And if you mess with somebody I don't mess with you. But I never came into this culture to be anybody's friend. I came in to report the culture, the stories, the making of the music. That's what I came in for. But I'm finding that people are saying, oh, you talk to him? Oh, nah, I don't mess with you no more. I'm like, yo, but you talk to and mess with whoever you want to. I don't question that. You know how many people I seen that come from my platform, dick riding niggas. I mean, even on down to, you got people like Hassan Campbell telling me what I can and can't say or what I should be talking about. Just really think about that. You got people like him telling me what I should be talking about. When, if you want to be technical, if it wasn't for people like me in the beginning, he probably wouldn't have a voice at all. But that's the arrogance, and that's where people get with it, where they start saying, oh, why are you talking about that? How the fuck you telling me what to talk about? And I gave you a voice. So now you get to check me and tell me what I can talk about? When if it wasn't for somebody like me, you wouldn't have a voice at all? But this is what I'm saying. And nobody don't really see that for what it is, and they don't check it because I don't come off aggressive and wanting to fight people and make diss videos. I just come with the facts and the truth, and I deal with logic and common sense. Like, yo, hold on. If I was stifled, if I was wrong, and somebody gave me a platform to speak, how dare I later on to say, yo, you can't talk? You understand what I'm saying? Or give you what you should talk about. It don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it was me and Star that gave him a platform to speak, you know? And even when a person say, yeah, they use me, they use my story and backed away, that's bullshit, because I could show you months later, years later, still doing interviews, still talking about it. You understand what I'm saying? But again, an uncontested lie looks like the truth. And I find that another thing, when dudes started getting YouTube checks and started getting money from YouTube, everything became the 50 Cent effect. I got some shit coming on, so I got to somehow, some way start a beef or start an issue with people so we could get views. And I don't be in on it. You know what I'm saying? Because I could respond, I could be disrespectful, then we on here disrespecting. That's not what my platform was built on, having beef with people and disrespecting people. My platform was about reporting the culture, right? And my platform was about doing interviews. So how could somebody tell me what the fuck I could talk about? And I'm a grown-ass man on top of that. You understand what I'm saying? So when a person says some doomsday prepper, It's saying something more important than what I'm saying because I'm doing celebrity gossip. That means you didn't really listen to what I'm saying because I never do celebrity gossip. It is a talking point because it's cultural, and then we move from that, and then we start talking about how could we learn from this. But this is just where we at. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing I can do about it. Once a person achieves a certain success, you can't tell them nothing no more. You know what I'm saying? Once a person could say, I this over you, the numbers and the impact and all of that they believe they have, you're their subordinate now. And I never been like that. Like I said, there's people who did shit for me. You do never see me come on here and drag them. I don't say nothing bad about them. I don't say nothing good either. But I'd rather just not say nothing because I have to respect what people did for me early on. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I am. But we're just in this culture right now. People don't respect people no more. You can do everything for somebody and they be like, yo, you never did shit. And that's just never been me. And I'm not going to meet people halfway with shit that I deem to be sucker shit. If you do some sucker shit, I'm not going to meet you halfway with that because that makes me a sucker too. So a lot of times I just be like, whatever. You allowed to feel how you feel. You allowed to think what you want to think. We're not going to be back and forth. But I am receipt, man. I will show and prove. And then it falls on deaf ears because even when I have people coming to me saying, yo, I hope y'all could squash it and I fuck with both of y'all and all that, I'm like, yo, it ain't no beef. This nigga's fucking lying. Y'all can't see that? Like, y'all, like I just came out of nowhere. Y'all can't see that a nigga's fucking lying? Like, I really have to defend myself against a lie. And you say you fuck with both of us, but you never say to him, hold on, now you lying. So I look like the disgruntled, low view, low subscriber count. So I'm mad. I'm minding my fucking business. I'm just doing my content. So that's the part in this culture that goes over people's head too. You know what I'm saying? I'm not grasping for straws. I'm not calling nobody out. I don't have to shit on nobody's name. I don't have no long-standing feud with nobody. I don't have a video about somebody every day. That's just not me. That's not what I do. And I can interview anybody I want to. And the funniest thing, I interviewed a lot of people already. I don't want to interview them no more. That's just me. I don't want to when you look at a lot of people, yo, I've interviewed them. So what's happening now in this culture, what am I supposed to do? My interview over? I'm supposed to ask them some shit that I asked them 7 years ago? That's for the new people because you have new people in the culture all the time. So if Math interviews Styles P and he says some shit, people going to be like, oh, that's new. It's some shit that I might have asked him 7 years ago. I cannot re-ask that. I cannot redo my shit. So sometimes in the culture as well, you're ahead of your time. You're ahead of your time. And people don't do the research because other people getting pushed through, other people are funding, other things that's happening. And that's no excuse for their success because it is what it is. But people expect me to do my same interview over and over. People expect me to bring Ali Vegas back and ask him all that same shit again. It don't work like that. Not for me. That's not what I do. So, and not unless something new occurs, not unless something happened, because unless people want that. If I bring Styles P on, right? For example, if I bring Styles P on and I ask Styles P about what he said about Nas, is that not gossip? Just really think about that. If I bring Styles P on and ask him what 21 Savage said about Nas, is that not gossip? I think that would be gossip. Because you should never ask a man about the next man that he has no business with. But that's how I came. So when people say you do celebrity gossip, I'm like, how am I doing celebrity gossip? Celebrity gossip is asking, it's like bringing Boosie on and asking Boosie about Dwayne Wade's son, daughter. That shit is gossip. Now you're gonna get your headlines, you're gonna get what you want if Boosie is with it, but they never say to them that's celebrity gossip. But if I ask Blizz about some shit going on in the culture, y'all two grown men who sit there and gossip about people, but they don't gossip. You know what I'm saying? Whatever Dwayne Wade does with his son or whatever the case may be, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? No, Studio One Live. Nah, it ain't gossip because you asked in the horse's mouth. No, my example was, if I ask Styles P about what he thinks about what 21 Savage said about Nas, that is gossip because Styles P don't got shit to do with that. And then they did a song. So that just deads everything now. Thank you. That just deads everything. You understand what I'm saying? That deads everything. Once the conversation was over, once 21 Savage and Nas did a song. Conversation over. We can't even talk about that no more. You know what I'm saying? But if I ask 21 why you said that about Nas, that's not gossip. If I ask Nas, what do you think about what 21 said about you, that's not God. Even if I ask Jungle, even if I ask somebody even if I ask Drake, because they did an album together. But when you ask the next dude that don't got shit about to do with nothing, then you're going to get a headline. So if it's about headlines, we can do that. That's the easy part. But then people will say, yo, nah, you started some shit because that's what they always did to me. See, a lot of people don't know what I went through in this culture as people saying I'm a shit starter. And shout out to Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero will tell you some of the things that he went through just for asking questions. So some people will say, nah, you starting shit because you asking this person about this person. Yo, what you ask that nigga about me for? That happens. Sometimes a lot of people don't want to hear their name. Good, bad, or indifferent. So if I'm interviewing, say I interview Fiend, I ask Fiend about everything dealing with New Orleans. That's his town. That's where he's from. But I didn't ask Fiend, so yo, what you think about such and such? Because whatever comes out of Fiend's mouth now becomes gossip on the other people's hand. And when they see me, they're going to be like, fuck Fiend, right? And they're going to be like, fuck you because you put my name in some shit. That's what's fucked up. But everybody else could do it and get away with it because that's where the culture is now. But when I do it, if I attempted to do it, something I was naturally groomed not to do, then I'm gossiping. Then you starting shit. Then you starting shit in the culture. So even when I look at Whack 100 and he's on Clubhouse and he's talking about different topics, that's the role that he's taking. He has a Clubhouse room, so he talks about various topics, but people say, yo, he always gossiping. He always blah, 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 blah. You understand what I'm saying? But that's the role that he's taken in his Clubhouse room. They talk about various topics. But people say you gossiping, but to a certain extent, don't we all go on social media and chime in on shit? This is where the culture is right now. I mean, everybody's talking about Brittany Griner. I ain't never met her. I'd be like, yo, hey, are you Brittany Griner?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay, cool. I don't know her. So anybody who types, anybody who says something about Brittany Griner is gossiping because you don't know her. You understand what I'm saying? But this is where the culture is. But some people are going to get shunned for that. Some people are going to get away with it. Like, that was Taxstone gripe with me because he said it was something that was on Forbes that I didn't put up. But he said, nah, you supposed to be a street nigga. You know that ain't supposed to go up. But I'm like, God damn, so I get held with this street nigga badge on me that I didn't put on myself, but I guess I am per definition, right? But I never put street nigga on myself. I came to report the culture. So in reporting the culture, it's certain things that's off limits to me, but they get to do it. Academics get to do it. Shout out to him. Vlad get to do it. Shout out to what he do. But they get to do whatever. But nah, you a street nigga. You can't do it. And that's what happened. So now people say, yo, I don't give a fuck about niggas calling me a street nigga or not. I'm going to do what I want to do. My dumb ass, not living by a street nigga code, but coming into the culture, reporting it a certain way, it's not being reported the same way no more. It changed. So now anybody I had before me, I can ask them about somebody else's business and it's not considered gossip anymore. It's not considered gossip, and it once was. So if I interview anybody, I can ask them whatever I want. And it's not considered gossip, which is fucked up. You know what I'm saying? It's not considered gossip. So I could get somebody before me and ask them something that ain't none of their business. I could ask them something that's just not their business, and they can speak, and then I can make that go viral, because that's where we at as a culture. So you'll be surprised that, you know, Wyclef speaks on NBA Youngboy, because you'll be like, fuck is Wyclef talking about NBA Youngboy for? But sometimes he has to talk about NBA Youngboy because NBA Youngboy is relevant to some people, but then that makes him relevant. And relevance to me is the conversations, right? Because Wyclef ain't dropped no music in a long time. But if he say, yo, NBA Youngboy is horrible or whack, then that's going to go viral, because that's the great Wyclef Jean saying NBA Youngboy is whack. Now NBA Youngboy going to turn around and say suck my dick or something, and then it's up. But why did you ask Wyclef about NBA Youngboy if you didn't ask him in the sense of the music? If you didn't say, yo, would you would you work with NBA Youngboy? That's the difference. You know what I'm saying? So again, I tried to tell y'all before, about 90% of what y'all see on this internet is staged for plays. People are trying to go viral. People are trying to do numbers. They are doing numbers. They doing what they got to do. Me being a little traditional and old fashioned and respecting the hip hop interview journalist culture is to my detriment. But the minute you start doing your thing, like everybody else, they'll say, you sold out. So you can't win. So the best thing for you to do is to do what makes you happy, do your thing, and get your money. You know what I'm saying? Get your money, get your prestige, because nobody's going to get that shit to you. Everybody's going to take it from you. Everybody's going to take it from you. Everybody's going to, yo, you're not growing, you're not doing this. And it's like, well, shit, how could you grow in a culture that became something that's not familiar to you? You know, I normally don't ask men about business that's not their own. I ask men about shit pertaining to them, who they know, who they work with, that shit. I can't sit here and ask Ja Rule what he think about R. Kelly coming out with an album. I can't do that. I just never was groomed to do that. But nowadays, people ask Ja Rule, what you think? R. Kelly just dropped the album on iTunes. What you think? So now it just became, there is no more journalistic thing anymore. There is no more journalism. It's all for clicks, views, and likes. Fuck it. Fuck it. You know, that's where we at. But when you see me do it, I think it could be kind of disheartening for people, because that's not where I come from. That's not what I'm about. I don't, and again, the reason why it was so important for me to separate myself from other people, because I don't do clickbait. Like, I can't give you a title if that video has nothing to do with the title of what we're talking about. You know, so I don't even do that. Like, sometimes people be having these damn salacious titles, and that's not what it's about. But I watch them grow, and I be like, damn, I guess the people just like to be fooled. And when it work, I guess the end justify the means, right? So do you just say, fuck the culture, fuck the people, just do you? You know, that, and that's really the issue. And then sometimes, you know, you get limited support, because of course you're going to watch a video that got 400,000 views over 100,000 compared to my 19,000 views, because it's going to look like it wasn't important. Nobody cared. But at the same time, you know, a lot of times you could look in the you could listen to it and be like, damn, this was mad informative. Shit I didn't know. Cause think about it. I just did an interview with Easy Mo B. That shit don't got 100,000 views. That shit don't got, he gave a lot of information in there. But then when I say to people, you gotta share it, you gotta like it, people just won't do it. And I'm not here to beg. I'm not here to say to people, yo, look at my dope. Yo, I'm dope. I'm not a new jack. You know what I'm saying? If I put out something that's dope, but then you choose to watch this shit over here, that's not my problem. I could just be myself. I could just put out what I want to put out. But my problem is that I love the culture so much. I keep trying to document the culture. I keep trying to document hip hop. And this shit has nothing. Let me explain something to you. This shit has nothing to do with music no more. Everything you see, every interview you see has nothing to do with music anymore. That shit is done. Myself and Gully TV is probably the only people that do hip hop interviews and ask about hip hop shit. Other than that, it's over. There is no more hip hop talk. There is no more there is no more, you know, how I created the beat, how I got the sound. Because did y'all know that Mobb Deep called Easy Mo B for the Give Up Your Goods sample? Because we love to give up your goods. Yo, Queens, get the money, long time, no cat. They called it, but I knew that because I'm versed in the culture. Easy Mo B is my OG. So I'm like, oh shit, it's a story that I know that y'all don't know. That's hip hop history. So you would think that would be on every blog. You think every blog would say Easy Mo B helped Mobb Deep with their classic song, Give Up the Goods. That shit ain't nowhere, but something else is everywhere. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? That the art of music, the art of the culture, that shit is gone. Nobody cares no more. So you would think, because he did Pink Cookies in a Plastic Bag. So when I heard it, I was like, damn, this shit is ill. But that's, and even I said to y'all don't know, that's not how the sample go. He had to manipulate the sample to make it go like that. And then he had to call, they called him and he gave up a sample. People don't give up no samples. You know what I'm saying? So again, that's to my detriment. So when people say, yo, you growing, you're not growing, this person passed you, I'm like, yo, I guess they did in what they do, and salute to them in what they do. But how many of those questions are about hip hop culture? So if we just gonna be on some bullshit and just start fucking talking crazy shit, we could do that. I won't ask a motherfucker nothing because being that I'm such a fan of the culture, being that I love it so much, I want to know about them studio sessions. Like this man, Easy Mo B, recorded Tupac, recorded Biggie, recorded Jay-Z, recorded with Bone Thugs. Who can say they recorded with Tupac, Biggie, and Jay-Z? And Miles Davis, just to throw that in there. Who can say that? So that's something to me that I deem to be special because nobody could tell that story. And Easy Mo B, happy belated birthday. So when he's gone, who's going to tell that story? And what happens is when we don't hear it from the horse's mouth, when we don't hear it from the person who documented, the person who did it, that's when the rewriting of the history start. That's when somebody comes and say, yo, nah, I recorded that Jay-Z and Tupac, I Love the Dough. And then the new people are forced to believe it because the person that's asking them is not going to challenge it. And the person who told it a long time ago is no longer here. So then we got to start digging up stuff. And now we're debating something that somebody just straight up lied about. So I could bring people on here and have them tell a bunch of death row stories. I could bring people on here and do a bunch of bad boy stories. But, they time was they time. They time was they time. We in 2022, about to hit 2023. We talking about some shit from like 27 years ago like it just happened. Some people whole platform is built over that shit. And you got people like, oh, I didn't know that. And it's like, you ain't know that shit? You knew that shit 25 years ago. But it's rehashed, it's regurgitated. And that's just not what I do. And it's to my detriment. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I should do it. Maybe I should bring people back. Because what happens is I do the Ali Vegas interview, and then Saigon sneakily redoes it, but then say, you did an interview, but never says you did an interview with Doggie Diamonds. So for the people who don't know, right? Because it's people who don't know that I did an interview with Ali Vegas. All they know is that this is his first time speaking on this. Because Vlad has a bigger subscription base, has a bigger following, and has bigger viewership. So this is going to be like their first time seeing Ali Vegas. And how fair is that for me to take the chance on interviewing somebody like Ali Vegas that, for all intents and purposes, sadly, nobody really gave a fuck about, but I'm able to take something from him and get 5 million views off it, and then people get to just rip me off and then just do it over, but don't even say, yo, the homie did that first. That's just where we at. So I don't even get mad. I don't be in the crib mad. I don't do shit. I'm just finding ways that to grow myself and grow into other things. My thing really is music production. That's what I do. That's why all these that's why all these I got all these intros. That's why I got all this shit going on. You know what I'm saying? Was the Big and Pac mystery solved? Them shit's been solved. Honestly, they've been solved a long time ago. They got solved from the beginning because some of the stuff that you heard, this shit is true. But everybody, again, when you don't challenge it, everybody gets to come in and tell a story. Now you're having people, this is how deep it was, right? This is how deep it's getting. If you notice, from the Biggie party, his last night, we knew it was star-studded, right? We knew it was star-studded, but we didn't know who was there. Right? So now everybody is saying, I was there. I seen Marlon Wayans saying, I was there. You was? Now we knew you was there when they did the freestyle because you in the picture, but now you was at the museum too? See how people, again, in this culture, people get to inject themselves and you can't challenge it because you don't know. So it just sounds like the truth. So again, as long as a person gets to have certain conviction and sound believable, you just got to believe it, because who are you to say, oh, nah, that didn't happen? So you got all types of people saying that they was in the museum that night, but nobody saw shit. Everybody was there. Star-studded event, thousands of people, but nobody saw shit. So make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're going to say you was there and you're not going to say what you saw, what's the point of saying you was there? I'm telling you, everybody say, yo, I was there that night. Yeah, because I saw him in it. But then when it come time to getting the truth for clarity and closure, nah, I ain't see that though. What the fuck? So who gives a fuck that you was there or not? You know what I'm saying? Who cares? It don't matter if you was there or not. You're not willing to you right, hell, I was there too. You know what I'm saying? Because again, people, it's a history in this culture that people are injecting themselves in now. And there's no way to really check it no more, because look at the conviction they talk with, look at the megaphone that they have, and they're looked at as not liars. But I'm just to be real with you. When you're known for lying once or twice, I'm going to look at you as a liar. T.K. Kirkland, he's another one that's just been everywhere. He was there. If I was this person. Shit, I had a recent, well, maybe this wasn't recent. This was last year. Somebody on Clubhouse was telling me how, T.K. Kirkland said he could get me on one of your shows. But I was like, that nigga can't get you on shit. And you paid him? Oh, come on. This is just where we at. So you being a person in awe, a person in need of promotion, or whatever case it can be, people just telling you shit now, and you have no choice but to believe it. So when the motherfuckers say, oh nah, see, I'm mad at him because he biting my style. He doing celebrity gossip like me and doing all these antics and all this shit. It shit look believable, right? But then you go back and say, you never say I was wrong for saying he was biting my style, because he didn't. You say, yo, I was really mad because he's doing the podcast with Whack and 10 Toes Down. But don't even have no fucking proof that I'm doing that or did that or even had that conversation. But it sounds believable because of who's saying it. You understand what I'm saying? And that shit is not right and it's not fair because the person's supposed to say, yo, you know what? I was bugging. Me and him ain't got no issues. We ain't got no beef. It wasn't about shit. I just wilding out. Fuck that. I ain't worried about that. I spoke to him. It's all good. But when a person still doubles down with the fronting, you're like. So then you got the other punk who say, oh, he dissed black people with dreadlocks. Right? That's an easy attack because it's like, I got dreads in my hair. What he diss people with dreadlocks for? Oh, that's bullshit. Then he just misinterprets and misquotes what I said, but then claimed to be an OG that could have hit me up and corrected me if you didn't understand what I was saying, or even if you thought what I was saying wasn't right and exact. But what you do, people will just run to their channel. And again, people number who I have, people who that I correspond with, I will talk to them before I talk to YouTube. But maybe that's just me fucking being too righteous. Maybe that's just me being too on some man shit. Maybe I should just run to YouTube and shit on people too. Maybe I should just talk shit because that's what people do. But I don't want to talk shit about nobody who's getting it like attempting to get it or getting it like me. There is no growth in that. I could just call your phone and talk, or we could just build in front of the people. But again, me and Blizz got everybody calling they shit a build now. You know what I'm saying? We got people calling they shit a build, but you know what are we supposed to do? And the funniest shit is that, yo, it's a lot of mouths that I fed in this shit as far as, because y'all don't see the back channels, y'all don't see the calls, y'all don't see the excellent advice that I give people. Y'all don't see none of that shit. Y'all just see motherfuckers ranting and raving, and they got so much antics and slogans and cliches and all that shit. You fall in love with that shit. So again, what could I do? It ain't nothing I could do. I could just continue doing me. Of course, I got some surprises. I got some shit that I'm working on. I got some shorts that I'm about to shoot. I got some documentaries that I'm doing. I got other shit, you know. And this is where we get to see who's talented and who's talking. Because half of the people you watch, respectfully, don't even really speak well. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them don't speak well. But because of what they speak about, you tune into what they're speaking about, because it is a energy and a level that's very, very alluring, right? We are scared of the boogeyman. We scared that we in our last days. We scared of nuclear fallout. We scared of FEMA coffins. We scared of all this shit. We scared of new ailments popping up. So when a person puts their platform on your fears, you're going to act like it's the discovery of some new shit. But let me just ask y'all, all the shit that's predicted, all the shit that's about to come out and all that, what happened? It has not happened. It has not happened. So when that one don't work, they'll just make up something else. And that's where we at. So now hip hop is at a standstill, and we don't respect the culture, and we don't respect the people in the culture, because we look at them and who's relevant. We look at whose story was engaging. We look at whose story was dissing somebody. You know, I could listen. If one day I felt down and out and I felt desperate as hell and I knew how to get 1 million views in one day, you know what could come out my fucking mouth? All types of shit could come out my mouth, but that don't mean that I don't give a fuck. I really don't. I really don't. It's easy for me to come on here and attack people. But I'm not into attacking people then apologizing after I did 17 videos about you. You understand what I'm saying? Thank you, Act Right TV. It ain't my thing to do 500 videos about you, then say, yo, I'm sorry. So that means all that shit that I said I don't mean. That means I just take all that shit back. That means it don't mean shit. This is what I'm saying. This is why I don't dig myself in them holes. And again, even with a person like Fat Joe, his so-called ops don't have a voice. They have no platform. So I got to bring Charlie Rock LD back on because I got some questions for him. He might not like the questions that I'm going to ask him, but I have to ask these questions because I heard what you said. I heard what Fat Joe said. I heard what you admitted to. I heard some, but now I got to ask those questions now. So I got to bring him back. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a hate Fat Joe train. So people think I hate Jay-Z. They think I hate Diddy. They think I hate Fat Joe. I seen a person say, yeah, man, you've been hating the industry for a while. You know what? The industry, I do hate the industry. I hate the system. I do hate the industry, but I don't hate the people. I just hate people. I just hate the perpetuation of the bullshit and the protection of the bullshit. And I don't think that people should be getting done wrong. And, you know, people lives are being changed. You know what I'm saying? I don't think people's lives should be fucked up based off of things that people do. You know, the robbing, the stealing, and all that. Now, who's smashing who? I really don't give a fuck. If you want to get your motherfucking buns greased, that ain't shit got nothing to do with me. But if you got your buns greased to get ahead in the game, shit, a lot of people don't see nothing wrong with that. I do. You know what I'm saying? Even I defend it. Oh, there go Charlie Rock, right? LD right there. Hold up. No. That ain't Charlie Rock LD. Get the hell out of here. You know what I'm saying? So again, shout out to DJ Out of Sight, the blind DJ from Baltimore. You know, so again, it's just a weird time we in. It's a weird time we in, but you know, we got to get through it. I've been here for so many years. I weathered many of storms. You know, I was once at another platform and it was all types of shit going on through that got me where I'm at today. So you said boycott Lobby Boys, boycott Jim Jones. So what are we boycotting the Lobby Boys for? The Lobby Boys make music. But you were led to believe that the Lobby Boys meant something outside of music. But then you're saying boycott, but you were told to boycott or feel a way about somebody that somebody went on to apologize to. So do you know the apology or do you know the disrespect and the hate? Thank you for making my point for me. Because when you give me somebody that I feel a way about, and I start feeling a way about them just off of what you said and it resonate with me, what happens when you apologize now? Does all that shit you said don't mean no weight? It don't hold no weight no more? Is it not true? Because if you look at my interview on this channel with Jim Jones and Mano, they explain what the Lobby Boys was. And it wasn't what you think it is. And it wasn't what people perceived it to be. But you saying music that brings down the culture or glorify the bad parts of the culture. What the fuck are you talking about? Music has always brought down the culture. And that's all perception. That is all perception. That is all perception. You think at one particular point, me being a hip hop purist, I was happy when they was like, tag team back again. Whoop, there it is. You thought I was like, oh, nah, this shit is dope. I was like, man, get the fuck out of here with this. That's how I felt. I was like, nah, I ain't fucking with this tag team shit. Then niggas like shaka laka. And I seen people with a pen writing some of the most incredible rhymes ever. And they got in there and said shaka laka. I was like, oh nah, fuck this fucking the culture up. because I didn't understand that it was a market for that. You understand what I'm saying? So you can't latch on, and especially with your name. So you're trying to be funny with your name and you're being disrespectful with your name, right? You trolling with your name, you being disrespectful with your name, but then you talk about what's bringing down the culture. It doesn't make any sense. So that's a contradiction within itself. But now I could be somewhere and it could be some nice looking girls in the party and I hear that I'm like, oh nah, they about to go crazy. Throw that whoop, there it is on. You get what I'm saying? So again, I don't have time to say this is bringing down the culture. This is doing this to the culture. I just don't listen to it. Seriously, I just don't listen to it. So there is no way that I'm going to listen to something or give something more precedent over what I love. I don't give a fuck about it. You know, some people, you know, look at NBA YoungBoy numbers. I never heard shit. But look at his numbers. So you think little old me could impact what everybody is listening to, what the youth is listening to? So I'm going to be here on the crusade. Because that's another thing too, man. You know, the audience got to stop making people angry black men that's always coming on here to complain too, man. Like, you know, a lot of times I'm genuinely happy. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times people want me to speak on shit. And there is no way to speak on it without being negative. Right? There's no way to speak on it unless I'm going to give the perspective. So a lot of times the audience might think that we're coming up here being angry, whatever the case may be, but you can see all the DMs and people saying, are you going to speak on this? Because they want your perspective, but it's not going to be a good perspective. It just can't be good. That's why when I came on here and talked about the Fat Joe and Luke thing, I gave a perspective where I seen both sides. But I could have put the most degrading and salacious title up to have 1,700 people in the room, 4,000 people in the room. But that's not what I did because I don't feel like that. I feel like Fat Joe, I understood what he was saying. I understand what Luke was saying. And if they speak and could agree to disagree, who the fuck am I to sit there and give a different opinion on it when those are the parties involved? Get what I'm saying? Those are the parties involved. So I have to respect them. You know what I'm saying? The NBA YoungBoy could be dope as hell. I just never listened. You know what I'm saying? And again, if you got a problem, this is the thing, right? This is the problem that I have with the audience. Or the audience will go on a crusade to try to stop some type of music instead of promoting what you like. You have options, you have choices. Why would I go on McDonald's every day and say this food is nasty until they look at me and say, so why the fuck you keep coming in here then? You don't think they're going to say that after a while? If it's a good restaurant that's healthy, I'm not going to promote that restaurant is good and healthy, but I'm going to promote how nasty McDonald's is. Don't you think that that's promotion? I never said what was good, but I'm telling you what's bad. That shit is ass backwards, but that's the logic of the culture that we're in. Everybody is disgruntled. Everybody says what they don't like, and then it just causes an argument. Everything is to argue. Everything is to debate. And I just don't be really with that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not here to debate anybody. Like, again, I feel like Nelly is a legend. That video is not going to get a whole bunch of views because I didn't say, yo, Nelly is whack. But if I say Nelly is whack, it's going to get a lot of views. But then you're going to have people that come in there and say, oh, you bugging. You just hating on the Midwest. You just hate this. You just, this is just where we at. And when you know what you're dealing with, it just is what it is. So you don't sit there and go crazy. You just be like, man, because nobody wants to hear the good part, right? When you think about even your movies, your superhero movies, you want to hear you love Bane. You don't give a damn about Batman. You love the Joker. You don't give a damn about Batman. To a certain extent, you want Batman to lose to the Joker because the Joker's story is so similar to yours. Bruce Wayne's story is not as similar to yours, right? But you love the Joker because the pain and the sorrow that the Joker come from, that resonate with you. But he's still the Joker. He's still somebody who laughs uncontrollably and crazy. But you resonate with that shit though. And that's where we at as a culture. So the bad guy will always look like the good guy because people resonate with the bad guy and people trauma bond, right? So a lot of people gripes is built off of trauma. If you look at the personalities that you see that come before you, that got YouTubes, podcasts, they shit is built off of trauma. That was the introduction to you. It's the fact that they was traumatized and you felt bad for them and you felt, how you feel about them, and then they go from curing their trauma to being fucking running their mouth after a while that you forgot that they was even traumatized. Shit, they forgot they was traumatized because they getting a little money, outfit chain, they could buy a chain, they could buy a car. So you forget, damn, hold on. Didn't this happen to you? Didn't somebody stab you before? Wasn't you a victim of senseless violence? So again, they come before you and they win you over. And you be like, nah, that's fucked up. We got to support them. Because some fucked up shit happened. So somebody will come before you and say, can you please donate? I lost my house. I lost my fire. I lost my house. I lost all my belongings in the fire. My 2-year-old died. It's fucked up. And you be like, damn, yeah, man. That's fucked up. Nah, we got to support them. And then what happens is you supported them. They were trying to raise, 20,000. But from that, they end up getting 400,000. They end up getting $500,000 from the people who felt bad for them. And then what, after they do a while, they start calling people broke and bums. And I got this and I got that. But you forgot that you sat before the people asking for help, and the people reached out and helped. And then the same people who helped you, when you don't like what they have to say, you say they ain't shit. They a bum, they broke, they peasants and all this shit. But you forgot you came on the scene asking for help. And the same people who helped you, you turn around and spit right in their face. And that's where we at. That's where we at. You forget that you once was a victim. So you went from a victim to a villain. Now you start acting like you're for the people, but for a certain demographic. But then when people question, hold on, are you still a victim? You're not the victim no more because now you made it. Now you turned something into yourself. You turned into something now. So fuck that victim shit. I don't even want to talk about that shit no more. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. So when I came onto the scene, I never came onto the scene talking about anything that happened with me. But after a while, when I became a soloist in this thing, I started talking about diet. I started talking about losing weight. I started talking about mental health. So what happened was, I can tell y'all about diet. I could tell y'all about discipline. I could tell you about mental health. Even up to this day, I'm still always going to talk about it. Why? Because I'm afflicted by that. Sometimes I'll be like, you can't even eat a slice of pizza. You're going to gain 10 pounds. So I have to talk myself into saying, nah, you're going to be good, because I know the struggle with people with weight. I know the struggle with people with mental health, right? So I'm never gonna leave that. I'm never gonna leave that because being that it happened to me, being that I go through it, you fight that every day. I didn't overcome that shit. You don't overcome that. You don't overcome mental health issues. There's something you fight every day. You fight it via situations and talking. But I have to talk because so many people are going through that. But what do I say to y'all? We gonna get through it together. You have to have discipline. You gotta eat a certain way. You gotta drink your water. You gotta exercise. That shit didn't leave, but those are the lowest views videos though. Those are the lowest views videos. But I don't do this shit based off of, I need this amount of views or my views this and this, that, because that shit really don't mean nothing. You understand what I'm saying? So my thing to people is like, yo, man, it's days where I just have bad days where I just feel like my mind is not right. Not in a manic way, but I'd be like, yo, I was so used to picking up the phone and calling my brother. I think I spoke to my brother like 5 times a day. So now my brother ain't here. So sometimes I still want to call him. I mean, he just passed away last year. So something happened. And I still want to call him. And I say, damn. You know what I'm saying? So again, those are times that that's who I am. That's who I am. I can't show you material goods and act like that's who I am. That could be a part of me. That could be some of the spoils of some of the labor of me spoiling myself. But I'd rather y'all resonate with me, with my solutions. I'd rather y'all resonate with me because I'm real. And this ain't no fraud and front and shit, because how could I have come before y'all so long ago and did not change? Seriously. And what I'm saying is that to my detriment, that I didn't change. Should you front? Should you do all this shit? Because people don't even care about losing their core audience. People just want to be seen. And I said this, I just put this on my Facebook today. I didn't come in this shit for fame. Remember, I wasn't even on camera for like the first 10 years. I just got on camera in 2016. I didn't come in this shit to be on camera. I didn't want to be on camera. I didn't care about it. I didn't care about being known. I just wanted my art, my interview style, my interview skills. I wanted people to respect that. I wanted people to say, nah, what the hell is this? I never heard nothing like this before. Yo, he's going crazy. So once Sub-Zero started watching stuff, he was like, yo, you go crazy on them interviews. I'm like, oh, word? Nah, I think you go crazy. He was like, nah, you go crazy. I was like, oh, shit. This is somebody who's in the culture respecting me. Then I meet Ralph McDaniels and he's like, yo, I like that such. I'm like, yo, Ralph, you watch me? Then I walk in the room and everybody know how worship Pete Rock. You know what I'm saying? I remember I was in the Brooklyn Bowl and I was in the greenhouse and he walk in and say, Doggie Diamonds, what's up? I'm like, yo, you know me? Come on, man. We all know you. Everybody know who you are. I'm like, but how you know how I look? He said, yo, I just seen the picture. I put it with the voice. I'm like, oh shit. Pete Rock know me. That's superhero to me. Shout out to Showbiz. I went to DITC studio one day in the Bronx and Showbiz was like, oh shit, Doggie Diamonds in here. I'm like, yo, Show, you know who I am? Like, come on, man. Because I'm still a fan of this shit. I don't profess that everybody should know me. But I still be a fan. Like, oh shit. Yo, you know who I am? But I've never trolled them. I never said anything to them for them to know me because they feel like they got a rebuttal to me. Because that's another thing that people be doing. That's another play that people did. They call people out, say their name, 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 troll them so much that the person get tired of them and then have to respond to them. Then they apologize. You just wanted the person to know you. So that shit is crazy within itself. I never had to do that. I just wanted to just come in and shit and document it. You know, I've seen a lot. I've been through a lot, you know, in this shit. Good, bad, ugly, and a lot of good. You know, I witnessed a lot of shit. Like I witnessed a lot of shit. Thank you for my drink chance. I witnessed a lot of shit. I was there. I was right there. I was a fly on the wall. And even as an adult, I was there. You know what I'm saying? You see Easy Mo B say, yo, nah, you was right there. So imagine being there and he's making flavor in your ear and he's making warning. I'm witnessing hip hop history in real time. In real time. That's why when I interview a lot of artists, I always say, what's your favorite studio session? I always ask them, like, yo, what's your favorite studio session? And when Fiend says, yo, I was there when Snoop Dogg first came to No Limit. Word? Because where are we going to hear this shit at? But again, where our culture is at now, I have to say, was you jealous when Snoop Dogg came? Did you want to, you understand what I'm saying? Then that can get sensationalized. Fiend says, yo, he wasn't really feeling when Snoop Dogg came to No Limit. 100,000 views. That easy. 100,000. But when he tells you the story of what was going on in New Orleans and why a lot of them didn't click and do music, maybe it's not sensationalized enough, you know? And that's just the truth. And that's cool. That's cool because we don't do this shit for clout. We don't do this shit for clout because years from now, they're going to be like, oh, that shit was dope. Because they still redoing my shit. When you really think about it. They still redoing my shit. A lot of these stories is still from my shit. You understand what I'm saying? So when I go on my Twitter sometimes, and I'm glad you asked about Jay Dilla, and I go on my Twitter sometimes and I say, damn, Jay Dilla was different. Why do I say that? Because it was some people that's in the culture that's 12 years old, that's 13 years old, that's 14, that has no idea who Jay Dilla is. And that's for us to let them know. That's for us to say, yo, Jay Dilla was a beast. Oh, you doing production? What, you got an MPC live? Yo, listen to Jay Dilla. Listen to how he did his chops. But nobody's doing that no more, though. Nobody's doing that anymore. So how is our culture supposed to thrive? How is our culture supposed to grow? So the way that we think, well, the way that I feel like we're growing, you know what I'm saying? The way that I feel like we're growing is not how we growing. You know what I'm saying? That's not how we growing. People are growing off of shit that's now, because if you notice, it ain't too many of these interviews of these, and this is, I'm saying this respectfully, it ain't too many of these interviews that you could go back to and watch again. You know what I'm saying? It ain't too many interviews. Look, let me tell you some real shit, right? And this ain't no shots at nobody, but this is just the truth. And you know, the truth should never be considered as disrespect. And I'm not trying to shit on nobody, and I'm just gonna just tell the truth. So when I had Choke No Joke on my channel, he had an issue with Charlemagne. I didn't really understand the issue. He told me what the issue with Charlemagne was, and I kind of understood a little bit. I don't know if it was that extreme or should have been as extreme as Choke was going to go with it. So when I interview him and he shits on Charlemagne in the Breakfast Club, I can't censor him because that's how he feel. See, one of his gripes was he felt like the Breakfast Club censored him and didn't put out his interview. So I can't repeat that same thing because it's not right, right? So I interview him and he say some crazy shit, like or with all the other interviews I did with him, but he say some crazy shit. Now, in the things that he says, right? There goes my I'm never going to be on the Breakfast Club now. There goes my Breakfast Club interview. It is over for me. Doggie Diamonds is never going to be on the Breakfast Club now because I let somebody come on my platform and shit on them. But I felt like it was his truth. I can't stifle his truth. And plus, he was a friend of mine at the time. But I'm not getting on the Breakfast Club now. And I have to accept that as my fate. As for somebody else might say, oh, nah, I ain't letting you say that. I never got. But he was on the Breakfast Club. So it's almost equivalent to like, yo, all right, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to smoke all the weed. and then I'm going to throw it. I'm going to throw the little clip out. You understand what I'm saying? So I lived with it. Me and Charlamagne still maintain a friendship. But I know he probably don't feel the same about me. I don't know Envy like that. And I didn't know Angela Yee, but he probably don't feel the same way about me because some things that was revealed in that interview, like, holy shit. But that's somebody just being a friend. Like, yo, you know what? Fuck it, man. Like, good, bad, indifferent. I'm going to ride with you. Even if you might not even be telling the truth, but fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Because when you say what he said, but then you go on later on to start saying shit about me now. And I'm like, God damn, I stuck my neck out for you. I got my head chopped off. And then it'd be the truths that ain't the truth. Again, a person will go out. I don't know if they be having bad days or whatever the case may be. And they'll just go out and say shit about you. And they'll be like, what the fuck you said that for? That's not the truth. But then you'll call people's phone, as I always do. And you get clarity. But then when they go back before y'all, they just won't do right by me. They won't do right by me. They'll say shit like, yeah, I spoke to him. I want to clear some shit up. But I still say what I said what I said. And it's like, damn, you're not bitching out. You ain't no punk for saying, yo, nah, I was wrong on this. Because again, I said some shit about Sub-Zero that I said I was wrong for many a time. That don't make me no punk. That don't make me none of that shit because I was wrong. I was wrong. I said some shit to Whack that I shouldn't have said. I was wrong. And if you want to interpret that as I'm a bitch, I'm a punk and all that shit, I don't care about your interpretation. I just care about me as a fucking man and being right. And doing right. But when it comes to Doggie Diamonds, they'll just shit on me and just leave it like that. And then they just guess we're just not friends no more. Seriously. And then I just sit there and review the history like, God damn, like, a lot of times I stood against some powerful people for some of these people. And that's what I'm saying is that's what the culture has become. You know what I'm saying? That's what the culture has become. It became, I'm going to say this today, and this is for today, this is how I feel. Like, I don't wake up in the morning and say, yo, let me attack people that I know. You know what I'm saying? I could honestly say, shit, I watch a lot of shit. I watch Scheme Team. I watch Zip with the Drip. I watch 050 The Movement. I watch a lot of shit. I don't agree with everything that they say and do sometimes, but sometimes it be some shit that I didn't know, and I gotta make sure that is right and exact because again, they're talking about cultural shit, and it might be from a different point. I watch 10 Toes Down. I watch a lot of people, but now I can't watch certain people because you might have beef with them and you're disloyal. But I'm telling y'all, the people who question people's loyalty is loyal to no one. Always ask a motherfucker. When a motherfucker talk about loyalty, who are you loyal to? Because a person who has a falling out with everybody, is it everybody or is it you? Shit, I got people I still get along with. We might be on different pages, we might be on different missions, and that's fine. But shit, I don't. But then I realize that it's certain people who just have something toxic with them, and it's not me. You know what I'm saying? It's not me. It's just them. They're gonna fall out because, believe it or not, when you cool with certain people, they always looking for an out. They're always looking for an out. And then we at a time where we're living in the exposed. We're living in the, YOLO. You can't trust nobody and all this shit. Like, oh my God. And then sometimes, man, I just want to just get up and just fucking just do content, man. I don't look at nobody's views. I don't look at who's got subscribed. I just don't. I just worry about my shit. And I've been called out. I've been called all types of shit. And I've yet to go off. I've yet to say what I could say about people. I've yet to do that. And that's for their sake. But I'm probably never going to be on the Breakfast Club. And I have myself to blame for that. I have myself to blame for that. I'm probably never going to be on the Breakfast Club. Because I got the story to be on there, you know, but again, am I supposed to apologize for somebody else's behavior or say to somebody, oh, I don't fuck with them no more? That shit is all corny to me. That's bitch shit. One thing I ain't is no bitch. And when I say bitch, I ain't talking about no woman. I'm talking about the frequency. I ain't no bitch. I'm not telling, it ain't nobody's business who I fuck with and don't fuck with. So if, say somebody like a Charlemagne don't fuck with me because of who he think I fuck with, that's on him. Straight up. That's on him. It ain't my business to say, oh, and I don't mess with such and such no more. Now get the fuck out of here. If you don't fuck with me because you think I fuck with somebody else, that's fine. That's just how I always been. Yo, you don't fuck with me because of that? All right, cool. I'm not trying to clarify shit. I ain't trying to clear nothing up. I ain't kissing nobody ass. I ain't like, oh, nah, I'm not doing that. That's just some shit I just ain't going to do. I just know that I ain't going to be on here. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. I got to keep it moving. Because I'm a person who speak my mind. So when somebody else speak their mind, I'm not in opposition to it. I just want to make sure that it's fair. Because you're not going to just be pulling shit out your ass. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I remember one time I interviewed Choke. I was like, call Dame Dash right now. Y'all don't remember that interview? I was like, call him right now. Call him on the camera. Shit, if you got a gripe with him like that, call him right now on the camera. Let's document it. And I ain't always right. I'll be the first to admit that, but I don't feel snaked. I don't feel slighted. Sometimes I just feel misunderstood. And I think when the motherfucker thinking about how they gonna bite you, they waiting to get bit. They're like, man, I know this nigga gonna bite me. So fuck it. So you have people who go in this culture with that they don't trust nobody, or they go in this culture like, yeah, this, that, and the third, or they just overanalyze too much. Some people overanalyze. Some people just look too much, or people listen and say, that was a shot at me, or yo, why did he do that? Again, it's shit that people do that I think is some real bozo clown ass shit. But some of these motherfuckers is clowns. I don't expect nothing else. Even if they was a friend, former friend, still a friend. You do clown shit, you a fucking clown. I gotta like you or like it or don't. But it ain't no me questioning why you did some shit and I didn't ask you. You better believe when people do shit, I ask them. Like, yo, what the fuck you doing that for? To me, that's fucked up. To have somebody who you think is a friend, and then next thing you know, you waking up and they got a video going at you. You're like, what the fuck happened? Why are you doing that shit? Something happened, like, so deep, right? Something happened with Captain Tazariak on Clubhouse. I called him today to ask him what was going on in the situation, right? I didn't get on here and say, yo, Captain Tazariak is stupid. It ain't no way. I wouldn't do that. I got that man number. I'm going to call him. Get clarity straight from him. You know what I'm saying? But the Breakfast Club is not the end all be all for me. But I know that I'm penalized. I know that. Because you got to remember, people help people that they shouldn't have helped, right? At times. So a person might feel like by helping me, they might help them. See, this whole industry is based off of unfortunately, we all feel like the double cross is coming. We just feel like it's wrestling, like a nigga gonna run from the back and hit me with a chair. That's how this shit is. And then when this YouTube shit happened, and I'm gonna be real with you, a lot of people wasn't on YouTube and they did not want to be on YouTube. I encourage a lot of people to do this shit, but they're not going to say that, right? So everybody's looking for the double cross. because they're double crossers. So it's easy for a motherfucker to call somebody a liar when you a liar, because you know how easy it is to lie, right? You know how easy it is to lie, so it's easy to call somebody a liar. But I've never got up. I never been on here 6 a.m. I never been in here early. I never been on here with 20 people watching me. I never been on here doing the shit that I see people do. And instead of me disrespecting them, I just move away. I just be like, all right, we not on the same page. We not really relating like that. I don't understand that. So when people start having behaviors I don't understand, I just move away. It's almost like being in a relationship with a woman or one of your homeboys. Like, this nigga been talking to himself lately. So before I end up having to punch him in his fucking head because he's going crazy, I'm going to ask him, yo, why you been talking to yourself? And he said, I ain't been talking to myself. All right, I'm going to holler. Or if you're in a relationship with a woman and you start seeing a little funny shit, or ladies, if you're in a relationship with a man, you start seeing a little funny shit and you decide to move away, you just move away. But we at a time where this shit is really, really like wrestling. And, my perspective, my thoughts, my knowledge, it is certain platforms that I need to be on, like the Breakfast Club, because I can definitely give a perspective that nobody thought I would go on Drink Champs and talk like that. I had people that say to me, yo, I ain't know you was intelligent like that. With the Nori say, shit, you hear him? We don't need Rakim now. That was a big compliment. That was a big compliment. He like, yo, we don't even need Rakim. Yo, he dropping jewels, which everybody claims to do. But as well as people drop jewels, they have to live that shit. I talk to myself too. And I answer. But you got to live that shit. You can't just drop jewels and not live it. You got to live that shit. Like, you really, really got to live that shit. Like, I am a real living testament. And I'm going to be real with you. I could say this to y'all wholeheartedly. The way I am has really fucked me up. Being a good dude I am has really, really fucked me up. It's really fucked up a lot of shit for me, because it is instances maybe I should have been a piece of shit. It is instances where I should have just been fucked up and foul. But I don't know how to do that shit. I really don't. I don't know how to turn my back on people that need me. I don't know how to do certain shit. And even when they kick me in my ass, I just walk away. You know what I'm saying? I just walk away. But again, as the people who want to see me, if you want to see me on the Breakfast Club, that's y'all job to reach out to Charlamagne. It's not my job to hit him and say, could I come on the Breakfast Club? It's y'all job to hit him and say, this is what we want to see. See, that's why when I did Drink Champs, that's why the episode came out, because y'all politicked for that. Y'all kept going for that. Y'all kept going on there, hitting them out like, yo, fuck this Drink Champ shit. Where Doggie Diamonds interview? I know he did one. Where is that? So that is more effective. That's why I always tell you, y'all got more power than y'all know. Y'all got more power. Y'all got a lot of power, but you relinquish it looking around. No, your voice count. Your voice count. Your tag count, your retweet count, your story count. Because remember, the ants, there is no big ant. You have a queen ant somewhere, but look at all them little ants that might be moving a damn chicken bone. Now, one ant can't do it, 2 ants, but 25 ants gonna move that chicken bone. And that's how sometimes you have to be. It's not always you, but as a collective, you could change shit, especially if you want to see it. Ain't no fake outrage, no anger, because anger makes you irrational. Anger a lot of times supersedes your judgment. Now you're just talking from an angry perspective, so people don't want to listen to you because they're going to call you a hater, angry, bitter, all these names that they come up with to not take your ass serious, basically. You know what I'm saying? And even I heard Star was on Hot 97 last night, and I heard he shouted me out, and I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Because me and him, well, not really me and him. He said something about me before, but for him to get on that platform and shout me out, I gotta respect it. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't really about shit, but he went on there and shouted me out, and I gotta respect it. because when he had his moment, he thought about me, and that shit I gotta respect it. You know what I'm saying? I gotta respect that. You know what I'm saying? I gotta respect that. You said, when is Doggie Diamonds gonna have me on this show? Well, you know what my rate is, and you know what I charge my guests. So if you want to be a guest on my show, you could just pay the rate. No, honestly, if you want to see me win and it's a fair exchange, then you would just pay the rate, because you're getting something out of it and I'm getting something out of it. We can't homeboy shit. I can't have a restaurant you come eat every day for free and I'm gonna feed you because you my homeboy. You know? That's just, business is always just respect. And I think, again, that friendship shit be fucking up a lot of business. No, let's do the business. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is, because I don't have the funds to give SZA or somebody like that fucking $10,000 for an interview. I'm not funded. I only charge $350 for interviews. I get more than that. But it's not about the money for me, in the sense of I need the money, so I'm lowering my rates. I do that because a lot of people can't afford it, but they might deserve it, right? So that's why I charge $100 for promo. That's why I say $350 for an interview. I mean, I get thousands of dollars for real, but I'll say $350 for an interview because, you might be dope. You might be the next big thing. I mean, I'm going to be real with y'all. Y'all might not know this, and I'm not really putting this business in the street on the derogatory shit, but when I interviewed Fetty Wap, he paid me. I'm just being real. Fetty Wap paid me. I put the interview out, and shit, 2 weeks later, this motherfucker was #1 on Billboard. I bullshit you not. He was #1 on Billboard. It's like, holy shit, that's the kid I just interviewed? Where the fuck them dreads come from? That's what I was like. But shit, I got my money. And I put it out there, but he was so cool that when he won, I was like, I knew he would win because his personality. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, again, I got a lot of things going. I got a lot of things that I'm working on. Thank you for that donation, Ferris Jones. Got a lot of things that I'm working on. I got a lot of things that I'm doing. But shit, he paid me $200, and that motherfucker was #1 on Billboard 2 weeks later. I shit you not. And I was like, yo, what the fuck? I was like, oh, nah. Nope. And this motherfucker had dreads. I was like, that nigga ain't had that shit like 2 weeks ago. He grew dreads in 2 weeks. Then niggas were like, nah, it's extensions. I was like, oh, shit. Niggas got extensions? What do I know? Right? But he was willing to take his money and put it into his craft the same way I'm willing to take my money and put it into this program, this microphone, the same microphone they use on the Breakfast Club. That's why I always sound pristine, my lighting and all that. So I don't get to take a lot of monies and buy jewelry and do all types of shit like that. I fucking got to take my money and put it back into the culture and put it back into myself to be able to come back here. That's just me. Maybe I should just go upstairs and wear my jewelry and just wear it. I got it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I should do that. But that's just not me. That's just not me. But yeah, I'm Doggie Diamonds, man. I talk for a living sometimes. I ain't gonna lie to you, I could talk all fucking night. I don't know what it is in me. I didn't even know I was like that. I never even knew I was like that. Growing up, I was really quiet and reserved. But something about me, I remember I had a conversation with OC. We was on the phone for 6 hours just talking about the culture till the phones died. It was dead serious. We talked so long our phones died. We talked so long we ain't even speak in a long time. What the fuck else we gonna say? We was on the phone for like 6 hours. But that's just how I am. When it comes to documenting, talking about this culture, good, bad, and different, we could just talk. I could just talk. I could just talk. And to know that I have impacted and changed lives is crazy. Because we don't know the power in our voice, the power in our ways and actions. We really don't know that. Like, we don't know. To somebody say, yo, man, I kick dope. I don't shoot heroin no more. You know how hard that drug is to kick? You know how hard it is to get off that drug? And when somebody say to you, yo, man, I listen to you. Yo, I don't do heroin no more. Like, wow. You know what I'm saying? When somebody say, yo, I just lost 14 pounds, man. You got me on some push-up shit. Like, wow. That's what we don't know. But we don't really hear that. The good side of it, it comes in twos and fews, because some people will say, yo, I lost all respect for you. Oh, I used to fuck with you. Blah, blah, blah. That's where we at. So again, people die from the lack of appreciation. So sometimes, people want to get appreciated. People want you to hit the like button. People want you to, send a cash app. People want you to send a super chat. Not because I need it. It's because I'm doing a good job. Like, where's my reward for doing a good job? If I got your ass off drugs, shit, motherfuckers be doing inpatient rehab shit and they getting like 8 racks. Somebody hit me the other day. Whoever hit me 2 weeks ago, and hit me up and said, yo, I played 972 and I hit. You know damn well and they hit me and said, yo, you always talk about 927. I played 972 and I hit. I'm like, where did my cut at? Where my cut? I can't get $10. That's just how I feel. Like, yo, come on, man. What are we doing? I can't get a cut? You played 972 and hit? Like, yeah, I was going to hit you all.
Still ain't hit me off, though.
But I appreciate y'all. Oh, I changed my number and I don't even know it now, though. But yeah, man, thank you to everybody who sent the Cash App, who might send a Cash App after it. I appreciate y'all. I gotta go. I'm about to actually go on the road. I don't know if I'm gonna be on next week. I'm gonna try to go on. I might go on from hotels, but I got some business to handle next week. So I might not be on. I'm getting on a plane Monday, and I'm not gonna be back to Thursday. So I'll do what I can to make it happen, to have some type of contact for y'all, content for y'all. But I'm gonna go on tomorrow and Sunday. Monday I've got to hit the road. So hopefully I'll be able to do that. But shout out to y'all. If you don't get the alerts, sometimes you have to unsubscribe, resubscribe, and hit the bell. Or you could just go to theinterviewking.com, sign up, put your email in. You'll definitely get the alerts. You'll definitely get the mail, the emails, because I tested it myself. But I'll be here till Sunday. Also, I gotta get my haircut tomorrow. I gotta go on the road. And I appreciate y'all. Y'all have been my therapy quietly behind the scenes. I've had a lot going on in my personal life and my private life, and I never talk about it. But I'm just like you. I go through shit that y'all go through. I cry like you do. I have bad days like you do. I have good days like you. Some days I just want to say fuck everything and quit. Some days I'm just, some days I don't feel up to shit just like you. And there's nothing that you can be going through that I don't go through as well. So I'm not different from you. We're not different. I'm not elite. I'm not better than you. I'm just an individual that's very passionate about my craft, my art, and what I do. So in that instant, I'm going to be a little cocky and arrogant. I do believe I'm the best interviewer. You know what I'm saying? I do believe I'm the best interviewer. I ain't never wavering off that stance. But as far as the regular shit that y'all go through, I go through that shit too. Sometimes I just have real bad days. Like I said, my personal life, my private life has been fucked up. I don't know if it's due to me or it could be due to me. Because it ain't nothing traditional that I do, but you just never know. Like some of the things you do, you don't know how it affect people, and some things that that you get back, you think you don't deserve. Maybe you don't deserve it, but you get it, and it's hard to cope every day with certain shit. So sometimes I force myself to come on here because I don't feel like it. Sometimes I force myself to get out of the bed because I don't feel like it. Sometimes I force myself to go to the gym because I don't feel like it. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't no different from y'all. If you suffering from any relationship issues right now, that shit is common. If you going through any substance abuse right now, that shit is common. If you battling alcoholism, that shit is common. If you fighting for your spirit, your mind, and your soul, that shit is common. If you're conflicted or what job you want, that shit is common. If you going through a transition of your living quarters in your home, that shit is common. Don't never think that you're alone because it's people that's going through that. And in this culture, you start feeling alone because everybody made it. Everybody is up. Everybody's doing good. And I think that that's fucked up. I'm going to let y'all know I'm 100% human. Like I said, I be going through a lot of shit. And I'm in a war a lot of times in my mind. But I don't take that shit out on y'all. I don't drink. I don't smoke. All I do is sit back and think and figure it out. And sometimes I overthink. If you an overthinker like me, we got a lot in common. We got a lot in common. But regardless to what, we gonna get through a lot of shit. But like I tell y'all all the time, we gotta stick together. And I need y'all just as much as I feel like y'all need me to talk to you about shit. I need y'all to listen. Because as much as I give you, you're also my therapy. You also give me a chance to talk. You know, so that's why I don't come on here professing all of these things and all of these vices that's very, very harmful. It is a lot of women on here. And fortunately, I do have a very big female audience, but a lot of the females could tell you that I don't be in their DMs. I don't be trying to holler at them. I don't do none of that shit. If you post a picture and it look nice, I tell you look nice. But I'm not an inappropriate dude. I'm not a thirsty dude. I just be on, again, this is a journey that we all still on. There is no right way. There is no wrong way. Every day is a new day. So again, when motherfuckers come sitting before you and just say, you know what I can't stand about y'all, or you know what I hate about black people, you start asking, are you black? So you're not us then, because your fucking life is perfect. So that's why I don't fuck with people. That's why I move away from people, because I know they suffer from substance abuse, they got alcohol problems, or they got mental health issues, or all three combined, and they so busy projecting how fucked up you are, they never look at themselves. So I don't know how y'all can sit there and watch people every day that want to tell you how fucked up you are and how fucked up we are as a people, but they never, ever, ever tackle their demons. Not one time did they tackle their demons. Not one time did they say, I got therapy. Not one time did they say, I went to AA. Not one time did they say, I went to NA. Not one time did they say, I went to fucking marriage counseling. Not one time did they do that. They come right before you and tell you how you and our people ain't shit. Don't make no sense to me. Peace. Tiptoe. Info.